What is up, guys? Welcome to my trailer breakdown for The Flash Season 6, Episode 4, titled There Will Be Blood. Based off the title and then also off the trailer, it's pretty obvious that this episode will be heavily based off Bloodwork, or heavily focused on Bloodwork, which would not have been as exciting as it is if it wasn't for the last episode, which built up the rivalry between Barry and Bloodwork very, very well. If you want to check out my review for that episode, that will be in the top right corner of this video. For now, in this video, we'll watch the trailer for the next episode of The Flash so that we can break it down. With that out of the way, let's watch the trailer for The Flash Season 6, Episode 4.
Doesn't something feel off about all this?
Dr. Rosso didn't mean to sneak up on you.
Why would someone do this?
To live, I have to kill. They have to be afraid.
Well, happy Halloween, everyone.
The trailer begins with the Flash and Killer Frost running into a hospital. Now, something I just realized, like, in this actual clip, or from this screenshot really, is that for some reason, Ralph Dibny has not gone out as Elongated Man, or gone out to the field as Elongated Man for a while. Like, in the last episode, there were a couple fight scenes, and the Flash, or Team Flash, fought a couple villains, but it was just the Flash and Killer Frost. Obviously, Cisco doesn't have his powers anymore, and from last season, Nora is gone, but Elongated Man is still around, along with the Flash and Killer Frost. So I'm wondering why he's not being used in these fight scenes. I'm guessing it's likely that he's going to have his own storyline in this episode, maybe something Halloween related, maybe something related to what we had in the last episode, where he had that storyline with his mother. I don't 100% know, but I think it's likely, considering here in this scene, it's just a Flash and Killer Frost. Maybe Killer Frost, maybe Elongated Man is there, but just not on in camera, or not in that exact area, but I think that was something of note, because Elongated Man should definitely be in scenes like this one. So Flash and Frost go to the hospital where there's been this like mass murder, and it turns out it's Bloodwork. They kind of talk about, or Bloodwork talks about why he was doing this a little bit later in the trailer. I'll talk about that in a second. However, this is pretty interesting as we see a couple people on the floor, a bunch of people who are dead, one of which has these hands that are kind of blackened. It reminds me of what we saw in the set photos of the Flash, where his gloves had like black at the end of the gloves, which a lot of people thought it would be the negative Flash. Also with the makeup and the design on his logo, it looked like it was going to be the negative Flash, where Barry uses the negative Speed Force and gets black lightning, a bunch of black design on his costume. They thought that it would be like that, but it definitely, I think, is going to be connected to Bloodwork. I also thought it could be negative Flash, but it's more likely going to be connected to Bloodwork. As we see here, one of these people on the ground have something very similar on their fingers, where they're all blackened, but one thing that person on the ground does is move, which would be normal. However, he is dead, or at least we could tell he's dead based off Frost and Flash's reaction to what's going on here. So it could be either that he's moving, it's very similar to what we saw in the last episode, where that dead guy was infused with Ramsey's blood, or some sort of blood, and that turned him into a zombie, or it could be something else. I had a theory in one of my trailer breakdowns for Season 6, in the scene in the last episode where Killer Frost was training with Barry. In the trailer, it really looked like that they weren't training, they were just fighting, or actually full-on fighting, and I had a theory that either Killer Frost was turning bad, which the exact opposite ended up happening, or maybe that Bloodwork is actually controlling her blood, and he has the ability to do that. It turns out that they were just training, which in hindsight was pretty obvious. However, what if he is actually going to have that power? What if in this shot, as well as in the shot like a second later when Killer Frost is standing up, or Frost, I keep on saying Killer Frost, when Frost is standing up with this woman in the background also standing up in the exact same location, probably the same scene? What if it's not zombies like we saw in the last episode? What if it's a bunch of dead people with their blood being controlled by Bloodwork, and he's able to move them basically like puppets? I think this would explain how Bloodwork can possibly be a fight for people like the entirety of Team Flash, let alone, the Flash himself, or actually the opposite, the Flash, let alone the entirety of Team Flash. The Flash, as a speedster, could easily take out somebody who's a blood monster. However, if he's a blood monster who can control actual blood, like bloodbending from Avatar, The Last Airbender, I think that could definitely make him a more menacing character, a more menacing villain, but also a fight for a speedster and for the entirety of Team Flash. Because while I do think as just a blood monster like in the comics, he could definitely be an interesting villain, I would think it's a little unrealistic realistic for him to put up a fight against not only the Flash, but also Killer Frost, or Frost and Elongated Man, and it seems like Vibe is coming back, so also Vibe, so I don't see that as likely. However, again, if you can control their blood and basically control their bodies, not only would that make him an actual fight for them, but also it would be so creepy in this very creepy looking episode. So, in this trailer, there's a bit of a monologue from Bloodwork saying basically his current motivation, which is that he's killing all these people because to live, he needs to kill, and also they need to be afraid. This, I honestly don't know what's going on here. It's possible that he's gonna need, like, people's blood, and people's blood that people who were afraid, or maybe there's some sort of thing related to him where he needs to kill people. Honestly, I don't really know what to say here. I just think that it's a very creepy motivation that they're doing here, and it's gonna make him a very creepy villain. Also, on top of everything they're doing on top of that, I think this is going to end up being a great, very, very creepy episode, and there's a very specific reason for why they're making it scary or horror-esque. If you couldn't already tell by what Ralph said at the end of this trailer when he said Happy Halloween, this is a Halloween-based episode, which is crazy because in all of its 5 seasons so far, and now a couple episodes into its 6th, The Flash has never had a Halloween episode. It had 4 Christmas episodes in a row, and then Season 5 was the first one that didn't have a Christmas episode. On the other hand, Season 5 did have a Thanksgiving episode, and with all of that out of the way, The Flash has never had a Halloween episode before. However, with Bloodwork, it's the perfect time to have one, as he is a pretty scary villain, or at least he can be, and I'm hoping he is in this episode. I'm guessing this episode will have a horror vibe. It's going to be like a horror movie in this episode. Again, it's Halloween based, with a villain who could turn into blood, or at least control blood, from what we see in this trailer. I'm actually pretty excited for that aspect of this episode, and I'm hoping they make Bloodwork as horrific as they described. So getting past the trailer, I wanted to talk about some of the photos, namely this one right here, where you see Barry in his Flash costume. Now, I don't know what it is about this suit, but literally every single time I see it, I like it more and more. The color is perfect, the design of the lightning bolt looks great, the cowl I think looks a lot better and definitely more comfortable than any cowl come before, and also the wings on the cowl look a lot better than any of the lightning bolts, and I just think it's basically a perfect suit that I really think is getting better and better with every time I look at it. But in this picture specifically, I don't know if it's the lighting or anything, or how it looks in the angle, but it just looks so perfect, and I think I could say without a doubt that this is my favorite Flash suit so far, which if you told me that that was going to happen post Season 5, that they would actually not only replace the suit, but also improve it from the Season 4 suit, I would have not believed that. But I think at this point, this is the best suit that the character has ever had, which is insane, and especially in this image, it looks perfect. Now, a couple of the things that are actually happening in this episode. One thing is that while Barry did try to prepare Killer Frost, again, Frost, for the crisis in the last episode, preparing her for a life without the Flash, or, for her life after that. This time, he's doing that with Cisco, as he tries to prepare him for the exact same thing. But also, according to the synopsis after this one, it turns out that Barry is kind of making Cisco the team leader of Team Flash after he's gone, which is definitely makes sense, and should have been the case back in Season 4. Not Iris, that was stupid, it should have been Cisco. But also, based off the images, it's pretty obvious that Barry will have a talk with Joe, probably telling him that he is going to die. I kind of feel bad for Joe. I mean, basically all of his children have either he's been told that they're gonna die, or he's seen them die, or something like that, and it just sucks. Like, even in the Flashpoint timeline, Wally died. It's not as bad as Quentin Lance, nowhere near as bad, but still kind of feel bad for him. But yeah, I feel like this image right here is an image from a very, very emotional, or at least very, very good scene, probably where Barry tells Joe about what's going to happen, and then Joe reacts to it. So anyway, let me know your thoughts on everything I talked about in this video. Definitely stay tuned, as I'm going to post my Arrow Season 8 Episode 3 trailer breakdown in just a couple hours. So as always, thanks for watching.